Hi, USGBC North Florida. This is Carrie Lynn, and I'm having a great time in Philadelphia at Greenbuild 2013. This is my first time at Greenbuild, so I'm soaking it all in. And one of my favorite sessions from today was about passive houses, and they're presenting it as the All Climate Optimum. The Passive House Institute was there, and they are in Germany, as well as someone from the University of Innsbruck in Austria, which has also been very critical in moving the Passive House movement forward in Germany. So the first house, Passive House, was built in 1991, and the heating requirement was 8.8 kilowatt hours per meter squared acre. And basically, they looked at, well, is a passive house really, just doable in Germany, or is it doable across the globe? And on the map that they showed in the session, really it's just in extreme cold areas like Greenland and like Siberia, where it wouldn't be a cost-effective and good solution. So the main components are the envelope, the transparent elements, and building services is what they focused on. The Passive House Institute has come up with their own kind of 6 climate zones in the U.S., and they named all of Florida as like Zone 2, and for the type of glass, so windows, that they would recommend, they shared about how now there's up to a quadruple insulated glass unit, and on the triple glazing insulated glass unit, they've been able to get a passive solar gain. So that's great for the cold areas, which Philadelphia feels like, but particularly Minnesota. But then for Florida and the hot regions, they actually recommended a double anti-sun window quality. They also touched on heating and humidity recovery. So giving examples like a rotary heat exchanger and a recuperative heat and humidity recovery system. And also they talked about ventilation and air quality. So using the cascade ventilation principle, where cleaner air is basically pulled from those areas within the building to then areas that have more contaminated air, like the restroom. And then in a home, that air leaves through like the bathroom fan. They also talked about cooling and dehumidification, and that the maximum energy requirement would be equal to or less than 70 kilowatt hours per meter squared acre. And you'd have no cooling peak power problem at all. They also talked about, for dehumidification, the Kromer cycle and how that's been used in a lot of passive houses. And they shared that there's the PHPP, which is the Passive House Planning Package, which basically is a primer on how to build a passive house. And it was really cool because even then, with heating, they shared the example of, because of the conventional home having a poor building envelope, you have to have the heating unit kind of on the by the base, by the wall, so that way it would help basically negate the draft that's coming in. But with a passive home, because of the high insulation level and the high quality of that building envelope, you could have the heating actually through the central HVAC system, and that would only require about 1 kilowatt, whereas the heating system for a conventional home would be about 10 kilowatts. So that's definitely a big difference. And it was also interesting, a gentleman came up and asked a question and also made a comment about his experience in Arizona, how he made a very efficient, almost a passive home. And one of the problems that they came across was that with using a high insulation along the roof line, they weren't able to use regular tiles because it would get so hot that would actually cause some warping. So that was an interesting real-life experience that he shared that they didn't show or touch on, but it was good to hear. And then also talked about, by using high insulation in the walls, that creates a problem for mold. And so how they kind of went about resolving that was by using a house wrap to help basically create creases to migrate the moisture down and out. So very interesting, lots of good things going on, and there are passive houses in the U.S., and so hopefully it will continue to grow and the industry and technology develop even better and be more cost effective. Thanks, I'll keep you guys updated. I have lots more to learn. Bye.